Are you looking for the best SSD for gaming? Tech Vibes presents Top 5 Best SSD for Gaming this year. These SSD are handpicked based on the overall design, hardware, customer reviews, and expert reviews. I will show each of the SSD's strengths and weaknesses. If you want more information and updated pricing on the products mentioned, be sure to check the links in the description down below. Okay, so let's get to the video. Our first pick on our list is the WD Black SN850. Western Digital Black SN850 makes a fashionably late entrance to the PCIe 4.0 party. It can hit 7,000 megabytes per second reads and 5,300 megabytes per second writes in sequential transfers, which is well beyond most drives' capabilities. That's because it uses the latest PCIe 4.0 interface, which has double the theoretical bandwidth limit of other PCIe 3.0 drives. Performance ultimately defines any SSD. The WD-SN850 really stands out from the crowd. The synthetic benchmarks, spearheaded by Atto and as SSD, show that this is very much a second-generation PCIe 4.0 drive, with peak sequential read speeds knocking on 6,750 megabytes per second and 5,920 megabytes per second, respectively. Writes are lower than the Sabrent Rocket 4 Plus but still healthy, at either side of 5 gigabytes per second. The 4K write performance in as SSD manages to flip this over, and the WD-SN850 outpaces the Sabrent drive. If your motherboard doesn't have a bundled heatsink, then you may need to look at the $20 more expensive version of the drive. It uses the shipping container aesthetic of Western Digital's external drives. Which, personally speaking, looks good, although whether you can spot it in your case is a different matter. If you can aim some active cooling at the drive, then that'll be even better. We didn't notice any throttling in testing, although it's something to be aware of. The Samsung 980 Pro, which had the edge for a few months, is left out in the cold, especially as it costs the same as the SN850, but loses out to the newer drive in every metric, apart from operating temperatures. Neither is a bad drive, obviously, but if we had to recommend a next-gen SSD right now, there's only one clear option, and that's the WD-SN850. It's simply the best drive you can buy today. The next pick on our list is the Crucial P5 Plus. Crucial is one of the big names in affordable solid-state storage, but has been notably slow at getting us a new PCIe 4.0 SSD. It's been worth the wait, however, as the new P5 Plus is a fantastic entry-level Gen 4 SSD. It may not have the peak speeds of the WD or Sabrent competition, but it can make a big splash in terms of those all-important price-performance metrics. And, also importantly, it can easily outperform any PCIe 3.0 drive you can to mention, and for practically the same price. Even if you're not running a motherboard with a PCIe 4.0 interface, this will still work in an older PCIe 3.0 setup, and at the limits of that connection. Since the first Gen 4 SSDs launched, there has been a significant price premium as a barrier to entry, and with the P5 Plus that has come down a hell of a lot. Using parent company, Micron's latest NAND flash memory, and its own in-house controller, Crucial has been able to keep costs down and performance up. Overall, the Crucial P5 Plus is certainly attractively priced for a PCIe Gen 4 drive with quality TLC rather than cheap QLC flash memory, undercutting most if not all of the competition, and by a decent margin compared to the priciest drives like the WD Black. In that context, were we feeling particularly price-sensitive, we'd probably suck up our minor concerns over operating temps and IOPS performance. In the rarefied air of PCIe 4.0 speeds, it's maybe a little lackluster in peak and random performance, but its rocking TLC memory, not QLC, is still pretty damned quick compared to older drives, and is fantastically affordable. Next on our list we have the Seagate FireCuda 530. Seagate may have taken a while to get into the solid-state game, and especially the PCIe 4.0 market, but it has arrived with a bang with the FireCuda 530. With or without the heatsink, something that's necessary for its PlayStation 5 compatibility, the latest Seagate drive is a stunner. Advertisement, of course. The rated sequential read-write speeds are fantastic, but it's the endurance levels that really stand out compared to the competition. The 2 terabytes drive we tested has an unprecedented 2550 TBW rating when it comes to endurance, which is something you won't see this side of an SSD made for Chia mining. The 2 terabytes FireCuda 530's rated sequential read and write speed is 7,306,900ths of a megabyte per second, and that's pushing the limits of a PCIe 4.0x4 interface. For users looking at the other capacities, the 4 terabytes drive has the same rating while the smaller 1 terabyte and 500 gigabytes drives are rated for 7,306 thousandths of a megabyte per second and 7,003 thousandths of a megabyte per second respectively. It combines brand new Micron 176-layer TLC NAND. The same memory Crucial is using to great effect with the new P5 Plus drives, with a Phison PS5018E18 controller. Micron claims that its 176L TLC NAND is the best in the industry with a 30% smaller die size and a 35% improvement in read and write latency over its previous generation 96L NAND. Apart from the PCMark 10 storage tests, the FireCuda 530 either matches or beats the big bois of the storage world, and when you add its leading sequential performance and endurance rating, the Seagate 530 is at least the equal of any consumer SSD on the market. And in terms of performance, the FireCuda 530 either matches or beats the big bois of the storage world, and when you add its leading sequential performance and endurance rating, the Seagate 530 is at least the equal of any consumer SSD on the market. The very next pick on our list is the Samsung 970 EVO Plus. The Samsung 970 EVO Plus offers a slight bump in write performance over the 970 EVO, all for the same price. There was a time when you could pick up the non-Plus version for slightly less, but those drives seem to have disappeared now. If you can find a straight 970 EVO for less, then go for it, but they're a rarity. Both drives still use the same Samsung Phoenix controller, which means they can outperform this generation's competition in real-world usage. If you want peak PCIe 3.0 performance, then the Samsung drives are hard to beat, but you have to pay for that little speed hike. Compared with the 512GB Adlink, the Samsung is a little quicker in real-world testing but costs another $20. That's not a huge issue at this half terabyte level, but when the 1 terabyte version comes in at close to $110, it does make the higher capacity 970 EVO drives a bit more of a difficult recommendation. The 500GB 970 EVO is still a great drive, smartly spec'd, well made, and with a more competitive price. The last pick on our list is the Crucial MX500. The Crucial MX500 is the only SATA drive left on our list of the best SSDs for gaming, but when the price delta between PCIe and SATA is so small, it's difficult to make an argument for the far slower technology. But, as there is a hard limit on the number of M.2 slots on your motherboard, there is still a place for SATA SSDs as secondary storage, and the Crucial MX500 is one of the best. With SATA's maximum theoretical bandwidth limit of 600 megabytes per second, it's nearly as quick as you'll get, and Crucial's drives have long been among the best value options available too. This is the most affordable 1 terabyte SATA drive you can pick up, and it makes a great second home for your Steam and Epic libraries. It will happily function as a boot drive on systems with no M.2 sockets, or at least no bootable M.2 sockets anyway. You will still be missing out on the zippy response of your operating system running on the SSD-specific NVMe protocol, but if that's not an option anyway, this drive will see you right. Thanks for watching the video. If you find this video helpful, please help the channel by giving this video a like, or subscribe the channel and tell us which product caught your eye in the comments below.